Today we gather on the brink of a new beginning. It's our time to decide now for ourselves and our children what will we as a group and what will we as a party become. Although it is a challenge, it gives us a great opportunity to rise up and reclaim our past, but more importantly, to rebuild for the future and for the future of our party. Today, we stand on the shoulders of all of those faithful servants that have toiled in the vineyards for years, both men and women, who have served the state both as public officials and as Democrats. Men and women who have lived principled lives, and some who have died for the principles that define us as a people and define us as a party. They make us today what we are, but most importantly, they encourage us from their legacy that we must press ahead. We are at a crossroads today that took us 136 years to get to. But today, I believe that we will join hands together. We will reach out to one another, and as Robert Frost said, we will take the road less traveled, because there, I, and that will make us different and make all the difference. Today we chart new ground. As Joe Turner mentioned, we have new roots, we have new dynamics, there's a new culture, but we are up to the task of being viable and playing in that field. We press on, we believe in each other, we hold the high principles that are the bedrock of our party, and we are now free to set a new course for our future. We are not downtrodden. We are not asleep. We set sail today on a renewed and reinvigorated journey that will lead us to a promised land. With defeat comes opportunity. You know, sometimes when you shut it all down and all of those things that you thought were so important in life are gone away, and we turn around and we look at all of our brothers and sisters who are gathered there together with us, we look with a new, invigorated spirit. We go from being complacent to being yes we can. We go from sitting down to standing up and saying if we work together and we join this journey together, we can do great things. We will reconcile our past. We will admit in some areas defeat, but we are going to rise like that mythical phoenix from the ashes, and we will make a difference in our lives and the lives of our children. It's all about legacy. It's all about what do we do today to plan for tomorrow, and what will those generations say about us in a time when so many think that we are in such despair. In March of 2009, my wife, Peggy Wallace Kennedy, stood in the pulpit of the Brown Chapel AME Church in Selma, Alabama, in the midst of icons of the American Civil Rights Movement. And she said these words: "As the daughter of George Wallace, I realize that my children and I will always stand in the shadow of the schoolhouse door. For that is as much a part of our legacy as their grandfather's journey on his own road to Jericho. But today, not as a daughter, but rather as a person in my own right, I lay a stone on the foundation of a legacy of my own, so that one day my children and their children will bask in the glow of the story of the day when their mother, their grandmother, joined hands with people of all walks of life, all races and creeds, and walked across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in the dawn of a new day." And I tell you that story today because now we have an opportunity to lay the stone on a new foundation for ourselves. And we have an opportunity to think about what will our grandchildren and our children say about us when we stood here at this crossroads. What would have happened if Rosa Parks had given up her seat? What would have happened if John Lewis had fled back to the church rather than walking across the bridge? And the question we must ask ourselves today is, are we going to keep our seat on the bus? Are we going to march across the bridge into the future? Are we going to take a stand for what is right? Are we going to stand against the wind? And are we going to believe in our hearts that our cause is just and that our mission is important? Because one day history is going to judge me and you about what we did at this moment and at this time here in Alabama in the history of our party. We are not defeated. We are not downtrodden because we believe. So, understanding that we are here, excited about the future, what do we do? Where do we go and how do we get there? When I was a little boy, growing up in Greenville, Alabama, when I would go down to the bottom behind the courthouse and saw a tent being put up, I would know one of two things. There was either a circus coming to town or there was a revival. And we are the party of the big tent. But I want to tell you right now I'm preaching, we don't need a circus, we need a revival. But we have to reach out today in faith and in fairness and listen and learn from each other. And if there are differences, resolve those differences. Treat each other with respect and promise that we will move forward together. We will never agree. We will never always have the same view of life. But we all have a common interest in doing what's best for our state. And if we pull together, we will have a revival. And I'm going to lead the altar call. And one day we will all be down at the bottom, in front of the tent, and thanking God that we made our way home. We need not to reinvent our party. You know, people that say, well, what are you going to do to reinvent the party? We're not going to reinvent the party. If you read the principles of the Democratic Party that are part of the bylaws of this organization, you will find that we are good, just, hardworking people that believe that those of the least of us should deserve the best of what we can offer. What the state party, in my opinion, needs to become a service organization. We need to be out in the field. We need to be working with the county executive committees, with the party, with the clubs, with the organizations. Where two more shall gather, we should be there. And we should be there to train you. We should be there to provide you resources. We should be there to help you develop precinct programs. We should be there to listen to you about what you want rather than us telling you what you need. But most importantly, we need to turn each one of you into recruiters. We need to recruit and retain new believers. And I cannot do that for Montgomery. Without young people, this party will die. We have got to look for investors. I want all of us, including me and you, to be shareholders in our new company. But before you can become a shareholder, I've got to tell you why you need to do that. And so I'm going to go work with the staff, and we're going to come up with some short-term and long-range goals. And I want you to judge us by our success. And if you believe that our company will gain focus, gain respect, and be able to provide the services, then you need to invest in us. Because we can't do this without money. It's my sincere hope, as I said, that one day, when people look back at this event, this time, that they will say, these are the group of people in Alabama that lit the way, that set the course, and that's why we still have a viable and will have a viable Democrat.